Gopijana Girivarodhare Gopijana Vallabha Girivarodhare Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Tera Vanachari Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Kunja Vihari Is it from Philip Lamata or? Reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, this momentous hour of need. In July 1962, Bhakti Vedanta Swami changed his Vrindavan residence from Vamsi Gopalji temple to Radha Damodar temple. For 3 years, he had been paying the rent of 5 rupees per month. For these Radha Damodar rooms and paying for the extensive repairs. Now the main room had electric lighting and a fan, and the walls had been plastered and painted. The room was 7 feet by 15 feet, with smooth plaster walls and a floor of sandstone, squares of uneven sizes, the same as the stone tiles cemented in front of the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. The room was furnished with a small, low desk and kusa mat and a wooden cot with a rope woven surface to lie on. The view was not the panorama he had enjoyed at Kesighat, and the neighborhood was not so secluded, but now, without even moving from his room, he could look into the temple and see a portion of the altar and the 4-foot height form of Vrindavan Chandra, the black marble Krishna deity, Krishna Das, Kaviraj had worshipped hundreds of years ago. The main room was connected to the kitchen by a 10-foot long veranda which faced the courtyard, and from his kitchen he could see the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. So the place was superior to his room at the Vamsi Gopalji temple, because now he was living in the temple of Jiva Goswami, where great souls like the Goswamis, Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath, and Jiva had all gathered, taken prasad, chanted, and discussed Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. It was the best place to work on Srimad Bhagavatam. जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नस्तप्रयेषु अबधरेषु नित्यं भागवतं सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भावति नैष्टिकीम्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 23, Text 7, Chapter entitled Maharaj Prithu Going Back Home. Titikshoriyata Vagdanta Titikshoriyata Vagdanta Guridvareta Jitanilam Guridvareta Jitanilam Ariradhishu Krishnam Ariradhishu Krishnam Acharatapa Uttamam Acharatapa Uttamam Titikshoriyata Vagdantam Uridvam Reta Jita Nilam Arirada Yiso Krishnam Acharatapa Uttamam Titikshoriyata Vagdantam Uridvareta Jita Nilam Arirada Yiso Krishnam Acharatapa Uttamam. Titikshu, tolerating. Yata, controlling. Vak, words. Danta, controlling the senses. Urit, vareta, without discharge of semen. Chitta, anila, controlling the life air. Ari, radhayisu, simply desiring. Krishnam, Lord Krishna. Acharat, practice. Tapa, austerities. Uttamam, the best. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Maharaj Prithu underwent all these severe austerities in order to control his words and his senses to refrain from discharging his semen and control the life air within his body. All this is did for the satisfaction of Krishna. There's no other purpose. In Kali Yuga, the following is recommended. Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasieva, Nasieva, Nasieva Gatir Anyatha, Priyan Naradiya Puran. In order to be recognized by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should chant the holy name of the Lord continuously, 24 hours a day. Unfortunate persons who cannot accept this formula prefer to execute some type of meditation without accepting the other process of austerity. The fact is that, however, that one must accept either the severe methods of austerity described above to become purified, or take to the process of devotional service recommended for pleasing the Supreme Lord Krishna. The person who is Krishna conscious is most intelligent, because in Kali Yuga, it is not at all possible to undergo such severe austerities. We need only follow great personalities like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In his Sikshastaka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the holy names of Lord Krishna, which from the very beginning purify the heart and immediately liberate one. Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. If the real process of all yogis is to please Lord Krishna, then the simple Bhakti Yoga system recommended for this age is sufficient. It is necessary, however, to engage constantly in the service of the Lord. Although Prithu Maharaj executed his austerity long before the appearance of Lord Krishna on this planet, his purpose was still to please Krishna. There are many fools who claim to worship of Krishna began only about 500 years ago, after the appearance of Lord Krishna in India, but this is not a fact. Prithu Maharaj worshipped Krishna millions of years ago, for Prithu happened to be a descendant of the family of Maharaj Dhruva, who regained for 36,000 years during the Satya Yuga age. Unless his total lifespan was 100,000 years, how could Dhruva Maharaj gain over the world for 36,000 years? The point is that Krishna worship existed at the beginning of creation and has continued to exist throughout Satya Yuga, Trita Yuga and Dwapara Yuga. Now it is continuing in Kali Yuga. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna appears not only in this millennium of Brahma's life, but in every millennium. Therefore, worship of Krishna is conducted in all millenniums. It's not that Krishna worship began only when Krishna appeared on this planet 5,000 years ago. This is a foolish conclusion that is not substantiated by Vedic literatures. Also of significance in this verse are the words Adi Radha Iso Krishnam Acharat Tapavuttamam. Maharaj Prithu underwent severe types of austerity for the express purpose of worshipping Krishna. Krishna is so kind, especially in this age, that he appears in the transcendental vibration of his holy name. As is said in the Narada Pancharatra, Aradito yadi ares tapas tata kim. If Krishna is worshipped, if he is the goal of advancement, there is no need for one to execute severe type of tapasya because one has already reached his destination. If after executing all type of tapasya, one cannot reach Krishna, all his tapasya has no value. For without Krishna, all austerities is simply wasted labor. Brahma, Evi Kevalam, Bhagavatam, chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 2, text 8. We should therefore not be discouraged just because we cannot go to the forest and practice severe austerities. Our life is so short that we must strictly adhere to the principles laid down by the Vaishnava Acharyas and peacefully execute Krishna consciousness. There is no need to become despondent. Narottama Das Thakur recommends Ananda Balahari, Bhaje Vrindavan, Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade, Maji Amana. For a transcendental, blissful life, chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Come worship the holy place of Vrindavan and always engage in the service of the Lord, of the spiritual master and of the Vaishnavas. This Krishna consciousness movement is therefore very safe and easy. We have only to execute the order of the Lord and fully surrender unto Him. We are only to execute the order of the spiritual master, preach Krishna consciousness, and follow in the path of the Vaishnavas. The spiritual master represents both Lord Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Therefore, by following instructions of the spiritual master and by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right. Om Agyanatimirandasya Jnananjano Salakaya Chaksuranmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvasesa Sunyavadi Pasyatya Desa Tarane Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasade Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Titikshor Yatavak Danta, Uridva Reta Jita Nila, Hari Radha Yisho Krishnam, Achara Tapa Uttamam. Maharaj Prito underwent all the severe austerities in order to control his words and his senses to refrain from discharging his semen and to control the life air within his body. All this he did for the satisfaction of Krishna, yet no other purpose. So we are here continuing with the Prithu Maharaj going back to Godhead. And here Prithu Maharaj been undergoing a severe austerities. And his only purpose is to only for the satisfaction of Krishna. So even he was a ruler, but still understanding the duty of his life at the right time. He has taken Vanaprastha and he discharged himself from all kinds of occupational duties in the kingdom and he left to the forest only somewhere or other to attain Lord Krishna and nothing else. If anybody understands the prime goal of life is to please Krishna, here Prabhupada says, Brahma Yevayi Kevalam. Whatever labor a person performs, Dharma Swasmita Pumsam Vispaksenu Katasriya Not Padayet Yadimratam, Brahma Yevayi Kevalam. Whatever occupational duty a person performs, if it is not meant for satisfaction of Krishna, it is said that it is just a useless labor. At the present moment in the world, we see that almost everybody are engaged in the useless labor. The chapter 522, Krishna says, Ei samprasaja boga dukkayonaya ivate adiyantavantu kaunteya nate suramate buddha. An intelligent person, he does not engage in the activities of gratifying their senses in the material world because it has got beginning and it has got ending. Whereas Krishna consciousness is never ending, is eternal. So in this way that Prithu Maharaj has gone through the Dhyana Yoga process where there are different kinds of yogas are recommended in the scripture. Somewhere or other we have got our sambandha, our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of God is mentioned in the Sastra, Bhagavan Sambandha, Bhakti Abhideya Aya, Prema Prayojana, Vedatena Vastukaya. That we have got an eternal sambandha with Krishna. And he has to be established somewhere or other. So Krishna is recommending, in the Gita we will see, he has recommended a different type of yoga. That everybody somewhere or other can be connected to Krishna. Whether it's a difficult, somebody wants a difficult way, Krishna has given them a difficult way. For somebody, they want a very easiest method, and Krishna has also given them so much of option how to be connected to him. Why we have to be connected to him? Because we need purification in our life. Here Prabhupada writes that Prithu Maharaj goes to the forest, he is meditating on Krishna because only for the purpose of purification in his life. In the chapter 5, text 11, Krishna explained, Kayena manasa buddhaya kevaler indriyarapi yoginam karma kurvanti sangam chakvatma suddhaye. That the only purpose of the yogis, the transcendentalists of their life, they engage the kayena manasa buddhaya, they engage their action, they engage their intelligence, they engage their mind, all their senses only for one purpose in life, to purify. Nothing else. Yukta karma palam tyaktva. Yukta karma palam tyaktva santim apnoti naistikam ayukta kama karen pala sabda nibhadyate. Further, Krishna says the purification process they have understood through devotional service. And he said those who are living for selfish interest, without any purification, he said they are known to be a kirpana, a miserly man. So Krishna has given us this wonderful journey. But here in this chapter that we are reading, Prithu Maharaj is trying to bring somewhere or other his mind under control for purification. And through the Dhyana Yoga, there are processes are given. Also, it is known as the Astanga Yoga. that is given yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. To come to the samadhi platform, equipost, that you are no longer disturbed by any kinds of demands of material world. You are equipost in that position to realize about our journey of Krishna consciousness. We have to come to the platform of samadhi. Krishna gives in the 6th chapter. When somebody has practiced a proper yoga, what the benefit they will gain. In the chapter 6, text 20, Krishna explains, Yatra paramate chittam nirodham yogam sevaya yatra chaivanatmanatmanam pasyan atmane tusyati. But transcendentally is a yogi who has transcended the bodily concept of life, and they will be able to bring the senses under their control. Number one, when you properly practice yoga, anasrita karma palam karya karma karoti sa sannyasi sa yogicha na niratir na chakri. In the chapter 6:1, Krishna says that when a person becomes detached and he works as he is obligated to do his work, he is known as a proper yogi in the renounced order of life. Yam sannyasi iti prohor yogam tam vidi pandava nai sannyasi sankalpo yoga bhavati kashana. Chapter 6:2, Krishna says nobody can become a yogi unless he is able to control his senses. So in this chapter 6, text 20, Krishna explains when somebody properly have done yoga practice, linking oneself into the Supreme, and their senses, their mind, everything totally comes under their control. And when the mind is controlled, the mind becomes pure. Krishna says when the mind becomes pure, they are able to see themselves. Pasyan means see, Atmani. They can able to see the soul within themselves. They no longer lives in the different platform. The mind has got 3 different platforms. It is called Jagrata, Swapna, Susupti, and the final, the Turiya, is the person, the Atma is observing everything. The mind is the conscious platform, it is in the subconscious platform, and it is in the unconscious platform. So our mind in the material world, in the daily basis, is acting on these 3 platforms, is fluctuating all the time. Unless sometimes it stays in the conscious platform, and sometimes it stays in the subconscious platform, sometimes it's unconscious platform. But the Turiya, the soul, is observing the action of the 3 platform of the mind. So Krishna says the yoga practice is for somebody to come out from this 3 platform of the mind. That is not you are sometimes you're conscious, you are sometimes subconscious, and sometimes you're unconscious. So Krishna says one who have done a proper yoga, he said the transcendental are able to control their mind, and their mind become very pure by this yoga system, and they're able to see the soul. And when they see the soul, they become very joyful. They rejoice within themselves. And in this joyfulness, they understand there is no other joy in the world more better, more higher than this. And they see that everything in the world has got limitation, but the joy in the consciousness of Krishna is unlimited. And they are not been shaken by anything else in the world. very steady in their life. Even different kinds of difficulties come into their life. They're not shaken by the difficulty. And Krishna says that, the misery of the world doesn't affect them. And they are ready to be liberated from the clutches of repeated birth and death. So yoga is a very wonderful thing. And yoga is very important to control our mind. But the mind also functions in a different platform, as I said, conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. And mind also, they are known 5 different levels the mind has got itself. One, it is called Shipta, the second is called Muda, the third is called Vikshipta, the fourth is called Ekagra, and the fifth is called Nivera. The Shipta is that the mind is like monkey, very restless. And the second Muda, they say Muda means a donkey. The mind is also like a donkey, hopeless, depressed. The donkey is like a hopeless. Somewhere or other somebody put, happy, things on their back and they carry hopeless. And the mind also known as like, Vikshipta, butterfly, you know. And the mind also known as the Ekagra, that it goes into concentration. And where finally the mind is fixed in one subject matter, nothing else. Because the mind is fluctuating all the time, there is a great requirement for the living entities to control the mind. Karmendriyani samyamya yahaste manasasmara indriyani vimulatma vichara savuchyate. Before that, Krishna said, Naikasi sanam api jato tistame akarmke karyete avasa karma sarva prakriti jahe. Chapter 3:5, Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, nobody in the world can live without doing anything, even for a moment. Even we don't want to do anything, sit quietly. The mind is doing something. Karmendriyani samyamyaste manasasma. The mind is traveling all over the world and it is creating one kind of karma, action and reaction. Even you're not doing anything, but the moment the mind is doing something, it also creates karma. Not only the body creates karma, not only our speech creates karma, but the mind subtly creates karma in our life. So every moment when you are affected by different kind of karma, how are you going to be happy and peaceful in your life? Yes, Twindriyani Manasa Niyamya Labhate Arjuna Karmendriya Karma Yoga Asaktasa Visishyate. In the chapter 3, text 7, Krishna says, you control the mind by karma yoga, detachment. So Krishna introduced karma yoga. Use your body to control. For somebody who are not able to go a deep level of Astanga Yoga, so he introduced Karma Yoga, the 3rd chapter. And then you will see in the 4th chapter, Krishna introduced Jnana Yoga, the chapter 4, text 33. Krishna explains Sreyan Drivya Maya Yagya Jnana Yagya Parantapa Sarva Karma Kilam Pada Jnana Parisamipyate. Arjuna, everything is within the Gyan, is the knowledge. Sarva Karma Kilam Pada. He says that, knowledge, everything is included. It culminates in the transcendental knowledge. So Krishna introducing Jnana Yoga, For somebody who don't want to use their mind, they want to use their intelligence. So Krishna introduced, okay, use your intelligence. Go and study. And on the 6th chapter, Krishna introduced the Dhyana Yoga. Suchaude se pratistapya siram asanam atmanaha nati uchritam nati Tailajena Kusottaram. In the chapter 6:11 onward, Krishna explained, to control your mind and senses, you have to detach, to go to forest, find a secluded place, go to the forest and find a place, and then take your kusa grass and put it on them, and then go and sit and sit, sit very straight, and trying to, bring in your concentration. So that Dhyana Yoga is the most difficult part of the yoga because it needs yama, it needs niyama, it needs asana, it needs pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Yama means anybody who wants to practice yoga, that there are certain rules to be practiced. There are 5 things, in the yama is that ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, brahmacharyam, and pratigraha. It is that those who wanted to practice yoga, number 1, they must be free from all kinds of violence. Number 2, they always to be very truthful. Number 3, they should not try to steal anybody's else property. And number 4, they try to control the knowledge acquiring senses, the eyes, the nose, the ear, the tongue and skin. And number 5, they should give up greediness in their life, no greed. And niyama, there's another 5 things they should do in their life is that saucham, they should keep inner self very pure, very clean. And santosham, they should try to keep themselves happy all the time. And tapa, they should bring in the austerity, performance of austerity in their life. And swadhyaya, they should study the scripture, Iswara, Pratigrahanam. They should focus into Iswara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is niyama. And asana, you find a proper sitting position. And pranayama, now you do the breathing exercise. Yama, there is breath, 10 kinds of breaths are there. And 10 kinds of air is there. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. These 5 kinds of air where the soul is floating on the 5 kinds of air. And you have to cleanse that place so that you will be more focused in Krishna consciousness. So the breathing exercise comes in. And pratyahara, now you already interested in yoga, you already accepted the 10 things to be followed, and you already found the proper seat and already bringing the breathing under your control. Now you withdraw the senses from the object of the senses of the world. Withdraw the senses. And number 6, now you go dharana, now begin your concentration. And number 7, dhyan, now you go into the meditation. Number 8, and samadhi, you come equipoise. Everything is same. Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmaniga Vyasini Shaiva Swapake Chapandita Samadarshina. A true transcendentalist, by the virtue of their knowledge, they see everything's equal in the world, whether he sees a Brahmana, whether he sees an elephant, whether he sees a dog or the dog eater, he sees everything equal, unless your mind has become equiposed. Beautifully, Krishna explains in the chapter 5, text 19, Tayer iha jita sargo yesam samye sita mana nidosami samam brahma tasmad brahmane testita. When the mind becomes equiposed, the mind has come to the level of sameness and equal. He says a person is already controlled the cycle of repetition of birth and death. When your mind becomes under your control, is equiposed. Krishna said they already conquered birth and death. So in this way, the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to purify our life, the senses. And mainly we are focusing into the mind because that is the place where the enemy is sitting. In the chapter 3, Arjuna asked Adakena Prayuktam Ta Papam Taranti Pulsa Hanishana Krishnaya Baladeva Niyojita. What is that cause? What is that thing that forcing the living entity to do something sinful? Even they are not voluntarily want to do. They're not eager, but somewhere or other there's a force, letting them to do. Krishna says, Kama yesa, Krodha yesa, Rajoguna Samadbhava. The lust, if arise from the mode of passion, is the only reason why the living entities are caught up with this kind of entanglement. Dume Avritovani Redo Darshan Malinecha. He says that the lust is, it's there in every living being. To somebody is like a dust in the mirror, for somebody is like a smoke in the fire, for somebody is like an embryo in the mother's womb. It is there. He said, Avritam Jnana Yityeno, Jnanino Nitya Vairana. The intelligence of the living beings covered by the lusty desires. And he says, Indriyani Parani Aho. He says that, where the lust is situated, he said the lust is situated in the mind and intelligence and the senses of the living being. But then he says, Indriyani Parani Aho, Indriya Paramana. Arjuna, the body, the mind is more higher than the body, the intelligence is more higher than the mind, and the soul is more higher than the intelligent mind and the body. So with our Atma, our soul, and with the help of Krishna, we should bring the senses, the mind, everything under our control. In the chapter 6, text 5, Krishna says, Udare Atmanatmanam, Natmanam Avasadi, Atmaiva Iya. Udare Atmanatmanam, Natmanam Avasadi, Natmani Avaivasyad. In the chapter 6.5, Krishna says that, the mind is the friend of the living being and the mind also the enemy of the living being. Bandhur Atmanatasya. He said those persons who can control their mind, the mind becomes their dearest, very good friend. And those who have failed to do so, the mind remains as their greatest enemy. Jita dia prasantasya paramatma samanita sitosna sukadukesu tadamana pamanayo. He said, who have controlled their mind, the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of God himself lives in them. They already conquered, already got the mercy of Krishna. If you are able to bring your mind under your control, and Krishna's mercy totally available in us. And he says that, to them, Sitoshna, whether cold or heat, whether happiness or distress, Tadamana Pamanayo, whether somebody is praising you or somebody praising you, it's all same to this person. Jnana Vijnana Tripta Tripatatma Kutoda Vijitendriya. And Krishna says, Samalo Srama Kanchana, to this person who have transcended the modes of material nature, he says for them, whether it's a stone, whether it's a pebble, whether it's a gold, everything is same to this person. When you remain same all the time, very steady in your life, and you'll understand the joyness you come to in your life. So in this way, that the whole process of Krishna consciousness is meant for purification, because when we are born in this world, the impurities have been injected in us. Who have injected the impurities, the anarthas, the unwanted element, Lord Brahma have injected. In the Canto 3, Chapter 12, Text 2, Srimad Bhagavatam, Tasa Jagre Nidha Tamisram and the Tamisram Adikrit Mahamoham Tamoham, the beautifully Canto 3, Chapter 12, Text 2, been explained that when Lord Brahma created the living being, originally we are from Krishna Lok, we are very pure, we are very innocent. There is no any sort of ignorance in our life. But somewhere or other, due to the misuse of a minute independent, we decided to come to this, duality world. There is good, there is bad, there is, gain, there is loss. Everything is duality in the world yet. And to live in the world, you got to be ignorant. If you're intelligent, you're enlightened by Krishna consciousness, you just want to go back to Krishna. You no longer wanted to live in this world because what is the use you live in the world? You work very hard, you earn all the money, you create all kinds of kingdom and advancement, but at one point at any time it will be taken away from you. Who wants to work very hard? If tomorrow or tonight, everything is taken away from you. Isn't it? So no intelligent man will live in this world where there is birth, there is old age, there is disease, there is death. Everything is very temporary here, and you do not find anybody, who are very, intelligent here. Everybody going into the same cycle. Puna charvita charvananam. Get up morning, you go to work and earn money, eat, sleep, you go in the same cycle without, understanding, realizing that something beyond this material concept of life, they do not, see the origin of their life. So in this way is that, when Brahma created, he created 5 kinds of, illusion in our life. One is that, Tamasram, he created, ignorance, that he has, made us to forget about our swarup, our origin, our swarup, our real identity been taken away from us, and Brahma created. And number 2 is that he has created, and made, he has brainwashed us thinking that you are the body. You're not beyond this body. And number 3 is that, somewhere or other you feel that you are the owner of everything you survey in the world. But this belongs to me. This belongs to me. False ownership. Number 4, from before he has created, anger through frustration. When you're angry, you make mistake in the world. Anger is good if you control the anger, but it's bad if the anger controls you. Somebody, I went to Hamilton yesterday, somebody said, I saw a big TV in the house, maybe the devotees felt bad. He said, Maharaj, we're not watching the TV. I said, don't worry about it. TV is good if you control the TV. The TV controls you, it's become very bad. Don't worry about it. Everything good and bad. Good, if you can engage, if you can engage in the service of Krishna Nirbandha, Krishna Sambandha, Yuktam Vairagyam, everything been created and given to us so that we can use those things as a platform to revive, to purify our life and go back to Krishna. Somewhere or other, when Brahma created, he has, created an illusion where, we have forgotten our own swarup identity, real identity, And number 2 is that, we are always feeling that we are the body. And number 3, false, ownership of the world. And number 4, anger through frustration. And number 5, he has created a fear of death in the world, sense of death in the world. So in this way, Brahma has created, these 5 illusion into our life. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he explains further. He said these 5 now expanded into another 4. He called it, Hridaya Dhaurbalyam number 1, and Aparada number 2, Asatrishna number 4, number 3, and then Tattva Vibrahma number 4. He says, by this illusion, been, injected by Brahma. Now, Hridaya Dhaurbalyam within your heart. He said, whatever is connected to Krishna, you are not interested in anything to do with Krishna. Whatever not connected to Krishna, you are very eager, very interested. That comes into your heart. And number two is that, you like name and fame. And number three, you become, you like deceitful, you like cheating. Number four, envious automatically come into. He said this is Hridaya Dhaurbalyam emanated from the Brahma and from there now expanded Hridaya Dhaurbalyam within your heart. And then he said Aparad, now you try to find, you like to find fault on Krishna himself, the deity of Krishna, or you like to find fault, the holy name of the Lord. And number three, you find fault on the devotees. And number four, you find fault on the other living being in the world. And the three, anarthas, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur says is that, Asat Krishna, that while living in the world, we want to see that we are comfortably living here. We look for the comfort of this world. And while living here, we are planning how to get the comfort in the heavenly planet. And we are more interested into the siddhi, different kind of perfection. And we also interested into the mukti. He said another fourth thing has come. And he says that, Tattva Brahma, that, the last thing is that, that don't know about your own self, and a person do not know who is Krishna himself, and they do not know what is bhakti, and finally, they do not even know what is unfavorable things are there in bhakti, devotional service to the Lord. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur said, now that has brought you to another problem, that he says, that, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, the six enemies in the world. Kama means different kinds of desire. Krodha is anger. Lobha is greediness. Moha is illusion. Mada is madness, and Matsarya is, enviousness. From the Brahma's, 5 injection of illusion, now expanded into another 4. And within that 4, there are 5 each. There's already 20 there. And from there now Kama, Krodha, And from the Kama, Krodha, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, now the living entities within the body itself, there are 6 environments for them to enjoy in this world. Number 1 is that illusion, He says, Number 2 is lamentation. Number 3 is hunger. Number 4 is, thirsty. And number 5 is old age. Number 6 is death. Finally, we go through. We are trying to enjoy life, enjoy life. But within the body, there are environment is given to enjoy the life in the world. The enjoyment is, within the 6th atmosphere. Number 1 is illusion. Number 2 is lamentation. Number 3 is, thirst. Number 4 is hunger. Number 5, old age. Number 6, death. Krishna says, now enjoy your life in this environment. How to enjoy? How to enjoy in this environment? As a Krishna say, hey, some person that, intelligent person never take part in the source of misery. Is the source of misery. What we are doing when trying to take part in the source of misery, we are adding more and more and more, and for no reason we have come to the world. Just due to the offense to the lotus feet of Krishna. There was a boy, the father took him to go and see the horse racing. So all the horses were standing to run. So the father, a 5-year-old boy, asked the father, my dear father, why these horses are standing here? The father says, the horse racing all going to run. And the boy asked, what do they get after running? Father says, the horse coming, number 1, they will get $10,000. The boy asked, how about the other horses? The horse comes, number 1, get $10,000. How about the other horses are running? Father said they don't get anything. So the boy asked the father, then why they are running? If you don't get anything in the world, why you are so busy about making everything? So in a way, we have to understand that we've been put into this kind of situation, environment. You cannot enjoy anything because your environment filled up with illusion, lamentation, thirst, hunger, old age, and death. So now, only way to cross all these difficulties that our life must be purified. Ada Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavit Griyam Indriya Seven Mukhi Jivada. Swayameva Spriti Hada, that the senses has to be purified so that we are very clear, we are out from the injection of Lord Brahma, neutralized. We are neutralized from the injection of Lord Brahmas of this five illusion. And to do that, mind has to be, mind is the central focus of everything because that is where all the senses are seated. So in this way that, we have given this opportunity, Prabhupada says that, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to make everything very easy for us. Because in the chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, we will see that Arjuna told Krishna. Krishna said, Yato yato nishalati manam chanchalamasyaram tato tata niyamyatat atmani eva vasam nayad. Arjuna, wherever the mind wandered due to its nature, you bring it back under your control. Chapter 6, text 26, Krishna told Arjuna to bring it back. Sarva Bhutam Samatmanam, the way you bring the mind under control is that when you see the living being, you see me in them. When you see me, you see every living being in me. In this way, you control your mind. And Arjuna told Krishna, Yo yam yogatvaya prokta samena madhusudana. He said, Yo yam yogatvaya prokta. Chanchalavat sitam mana. He says, no, I don't think so. It is that easy to control the mind. My dear Lord, you already said the mind by nature is flickering. By nature, the mind has no foundation. How to control the mind? Krishna says, Asamsayam Mahabhavo Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasana Sukaunteya Vairagyam Tam Griyate. By constant practice and by detachment, you can bring the mind back under your control. And Arjuna says, Chanchalame Mana Krishna Paramatmi Bhagavad Ivam Tasyam Nigraha Manye Vayuriva Suddhusprit. He said, my dear Lord, I think I can able to control the wind, but the mind is going more faster than that. How to control? It's not that easy. In the Mahabharata, we will see a story of Karna. Karna is the giver, he gives charity. Whoever comes and asks anything, he just gives them. So one time Karna was bathing in the riverside. And on the left hand, he's holding a small pot with the oil, and then it takes the oil and then apply it in his body to take bath. And then when he was holding the oil, the pot only, in the left hand, at that time, a Brahmana old man, he came, he asked some charity from Karna. And immediately from the left hand, he gave, pot to this old Brahmana. And the Brahmana knows the scripture, and then he told Karna, Karna, you also know the Shastra. Whatever you give it to your friend, you give it on your right hand. Whatever you give it to your enemy, you give it to your left hand. A person who are educated, when you give something in left hand, they know that you are not interested anymore with them. You don't come back, go away. In the Western world, they don't like somebody coming to your house, they will scold you, idiot, why you came to my house, get out from here. But in the India culture, they don't be very rude to anybody. Even enemy come, they ask for a cup of water, they will give the cup of water in the left hand. That means, they don't want you to come back again. And if they give it in the right hand, you are welcomed. So Karna gave, the charity, the pot in his left hand. So the old Brahmana says that, this Shastra, only to enemy you give from left hand. So how come you did this thing? And I say what you say is very true. I was holding the oil pot in my left hand. The moment he came and asked for charity, immediately gave it to him. Why? He said by the time I changed from left hand to right hand, I was scared that my mind may change. That is the speed the mind is going, like that. Before changing is that your mind may change. So in this way now Krishna comes, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us the easiest process. Nama vinu kale kale nahi aradharma. Sarva nama sarva mantra e sastram. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Prakasananda Saraswati, the Mayavadi scholar. He says in Kali Yuga there is no other dharma for living being. As the only dharma available in Kali Yuga is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. When Subiri Roy was converted by the Mohammedans, the Muslims, and he went to so many smarta brahmanas around for solution. What should I do? I've been converted by the Muslims. So the smarta brahmanas, they told him that, you go back to your house, you boil ghee, very hot ghee. So you drink the ghee, hot boiled ghee. Another way they've been telling him, there's no solution, you go and die. You've already been converted. So he was, crying. He came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, please tell me what is the solution for me. And Mahaprabhu said very easy. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva. There is no other way. There is no other way, no other way in Kali Yuga. Other than chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Kali Kali Nama Rupa Krishna Avatara Nama Aite Aya Sarva Jagat Nistara. Kali Yuga, the same Lord Krishna comes in the Nama Rupa in the 16 words. And somebody have got faith, they have taken the Lord into their life through these 16 words of chanting Hare Krishna. You don't need to go and perform different, difficult tapasya, austerity in your life. Sometimes people worry because in Kali Yuga everything becomes very difficult. The living is not that easy. Even we are by ourselves as a sannyasi or brahmachari. Sometimes we find it life is so terrible, so horrible, so difficult. We are waiting when we can go back to Krishna. It's not that easy. To do something good for the people also not easy. To do something bad for the people also not easy. You don't even know who's your friend and enemy in the world. Everything becomes very, difficult due to, the flickering nature of the mind. So it's not that easy. But, the Lord is very kind that, don't worry about any of these things. Just chant Hare Krishna and be peaceful. So we have got this great, opportunity been given by Srila Prabhupada, by the association when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya concluded, he says that samsara sarpadiste murchitanam kalau yugam. Ausadam Bhagavan Nama Tasmad Vaishnava Sevan. In Kali Yuga, there's only two things become very important in devotees' life. Anybody who are bitten by the snake of Maya, illusion, anybody who was bitten by the snake of illusion in the world, and they fall unconscious, only way to revive your consciousness is said only by two ways. One is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Another one is by always keeping yourself in the association of the devotees. These two things you do. Chant Hare Krishna and always keep in the association of the devotees. Even so much of great difficulties and miseries in your life, which is so difficult to come out from, but easily you will come up when you got the faith in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So thank you so much for being here today. And if anybody got any questions or any comments, any doubts, you can ask. How you become intelligent. Krishna says in the chapter 13, text 22, that, he says that Prakriti, Stoi, Bhangte Prakriti Jangunan Karanam Gunasangasya Sata Satyoni Janmasu. He says that, good and bad comes into people's life through their association. So you want to be intelligent, you go look for intelligent people, you'll become intelligent. You want to become idiot, you look for another idiot, and you become better idiot. All only through association. By ourselves, we don't have any power to do these things. Because the illusion injected by Brahma is very powerful, very strong. By getting Prabhupada books, somewhere or other, we understand, there is another life in the world, you know. So we've been saying that, in this world we see birth, old age, disease, and death. But then, the soul is eternal, not meant to go through all these miseries of life. And how to come up from this thing is that, so you got the intelligence, because the intelligence comes through Prabhupada books, his association, through his, Vani, through his different lectures, through different, conversation, and through his disciples who have associated, who are, bringing the same information to through us. Only through some association, either Prabhupada books, or Prabhupada lecture, Prabhupada conversation, or his disciples, or disciples of disciples. Somewhere or other, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, Krishna Bhakti Janmamula Ayasadu Sangha Krishna Prema Janmaye Aya Mukyam Hanga. The Mukya, the important part of one's life, he says, is the association of the devotee. Krishna Janma means birth, a birth of enlightenment in your life. Krishna consciousness only happens, he said, when you associate, you get the mercy of the association of the devotees. And prema, the joy in your life also comes through the same source. And after you are enlightened, after you are having joined Krishna consciousness, always you like to remain in that association, never run away from the association. Thinking now I already got everything, I know everything, I'm doing well, let me go to somewhere. And you go somewhere, then Maya looks for you, bring you back again into the clutches. The only way to do anything in your life to keep always in the association of the right-minded people, favorably they are conducting their Krishna consciousness. Anya Vilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmari Anavartam Anukulyena Krishna Selanam Bhakti Ruttamam. Anukulya means favorably they are performing bhakti. There are devotees, some are not favorably practicing. Simply argument, simply fighting, simply creating unwanted environment, But there are devotees who are very peaceful, very focused, they come, they focus, they do their Krishna consciousness, go back, and then always, they are in the platform of Krishna consciousness. So you look for somebody. There are some devotee you can associate. There are some devotee you cannot associate. There are some devotee you should take shelter of that person. So you find, the right-minded devotees favorable towards what you want to achieve in Krishna consciousness, and it becomes hell. And Krishna says in chapter 10, Tesam Satajadiktanam Bhajanti Pratipurvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tan Enamam Buddhi. That intelligence I will give it to you. So Krishna may give it to you directly, or he may give through the devotees, or he may give through Prabhupada books, But Krishna will help you out because you have come to Krishna. But you must have the desire. Krishna never told Arjuna, I will fight for you, go to the forest. So Krishna want Arjuna to, do his part, work on the plan of Krishna. So Krishna's plan, he wants to enlighten you. And now you do it, and Krishna gives you different ways how you can do it. You go and read Prabhupada books. Prabhupada says, I'm living in my book for 10,000 years. I'm living in my book. So you read Prabhupada books. Every day you read and read and read. You'll see how intelligent you become. There's association with Prabhupada. So in a way that many ways are given how we can be enlightened, be intelligent in our life. But it's all through only association, either Prabhupada books, his conversation, his lecture, or his disciples, or the disciple of the disciple, somewhere or other you got some devotee association along. Okay, any other thing? Okay. Okay, that is easy to be said, done, but I myself are trying to do this thing. I won't be able to answer you when I'm succeeded in the way, how to subdue the mind. So I'll come back and tell you. Theoretically, we know something, but you should not advise somebody which you are not able to do it yourself. There was a mother, she brought, Prabhupada said this story, a mother brought a son, young boy, who likes to eat the sweet, and she knows it's not very good for his teeth. Then I told the, Swamiji, he advised him. Swamiji said, you go take him back, come back after 3 days. After 3 days, when he came back, and only one thing he told, the Swamiji told him, he shouted at him, you should stop eating sweet. Only, this sentence, and a boy, found, is gone into the mind. The mother asked, only this one verse you could have said 3 days ago. And he said, at that time, I myself was eating the sweet. So like that, by always everything comes back again in the environment of a good devotee who have done this thing. With their mercy, with that kind of, vibration and environment, you are situated. And within you, when Krishna gives you the intelligence how to do it properly, it is more beautifully done. And then different people, it takes a different time for purification because some of us, some of our heart, is like a common, it's like a very soft. And some heart are very rock, like a rock, very hard. Some are very soft, easily within, matter of little bit of time, they pick up everything very nicely. But somebody lives for 20 years also, they cannot do because, their heart is like a rock. So like that, different people have got a different degrees, level of, their contamination, anarthas. Like, Krishna says, for somebody is like a dust in the mirror, for somebody like, smoke in the fire. So all of us, not, in a similar level, the anarthas are available in us. So somewhere or other, we have come back to the world. And Arjuna asked, what happened to these people who are not able to achieve ayati, sradayopeta, yoga chalita manasa, aprapyamam samsiddhim, kamgatim Krishna gachat. In the chapter 6, text 37, Arjuna asked, what happens to somebody who are not able to do it properly? No. Kashino bhaya vitarasta chinnam brahmevasa. Yes, is it that those persons who have failed, in the practice of the purification, are they everything is over, spiritually and materially, everything is gone from them, like the clouds, pushed away by the air. And Krishna says, he says, that Partha Naiveti Namutra. He said, my dear Arjun, those transcendentalists who have done good for the world themselves, and they never lost in the world. Those have practiced. They Prapya Punya Kritan Lokam. In next life, they are born in a devotee family. And they are born in a rich family where they can use their wealth, in Krishna consciousness. Tatra Tambuli Samyogam Labate Purva Deikam Yatate Tatata Boya Samsiddhin. Guru Nandana, those have failed, to do it properly. He says, Tambuli, next life they are born Purva and they've been given, the continuation to revive back, And then he says, Samsiddhim, in this way you also will be perfected in the process of Krishna consciousness. So it's not that easy as what we're talking because, Kali Yuga is so difficult. There's contamination in everything, So slowly by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, you'll be able to do this thing. Not by theoretical, but if you always take a very good advice from your God brothers and you try to associate with your Guru as much as you can while he's living in the world. and take, the advice very favorably. And, by the mercy, you'll be able to do it. Other than that, I cannot say much. No, because I myself, when Prabhupada time in Bombay, they were building, the Bombay Juhu Beach temple, which was had all kinds of problems. And one Tamil Krishna Maharaj told Prabhupada, he says, quitting, from this project, he says, I cannot take it anymore. You know, it's so difficult, I cannot concentrate in my chanting. Prabhupada told Tamil Krishna Maharaj, he says, I'm also having that problem. And Prabhupada said, do you think Arjuna was, peaceful when, in the battlefield? The material world is a battle, you are fighting against everything, and Maya is not going to leave you that easy. Oh, I'm thinking, I control, and Maya say, okay. It's not like that. Maya is going to do its job, and you're going to do your job, and Krishna is going to do his job. When Prabhupada was, flying, and Prabhupada was praying to Radharani, and devotee asked Prabhupada, what you're praying? Prabhupada say, I pray that Maya won't catch me, won't disturb me. Devotee say, Prabhupada, you are very dear to Krishna. How Maya can catch you? Prabhupada says not like that. He says Maya standing on your left, right hand side. No, he says Krishna standing on your right hand side, Maya standing on your left hand side. He said before coming to Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said, I was looking at Maya all the time. And I was looking at Maya, Maya is slapping me, slapping me, slapping me. I was tired and frustrated by the slap of Maya. And I turned this side and Krishna is smiling with the flute. And happy, 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 happy. And he said, don't think that Maya is going to go away from there. And Krishna is going to go away from there. The moment you turn back from Krishna again, Maya is ready to slap you. The Maya is there and Krishna is there and you are there. All the real things are going on. The only way is that always you, turn towards Krishna. And Nama Purana Yuktanam Namani Vaharantyagam. Beautifully the Shastra says you may be making offenses in the chanting. You may be not concentrating in the chanting. It's the only way to rectify your chanting is keep chanting. That's it. The needle, they say needle has to be taken away from another needle. Something sharp has spoken your feet or anything. To take away, you need another sharp thing to go in. So like that, the Shastra say only way you correct, you do properly by keep doing it again and again and again and again. And the Maya will understand that you're trying and trying and trying. And on the other side, Krishna will tell Maya, at this time, let go, my friend. Krishna will help you. Keep doing it. You'll overcome. Not all the time we are carried away by Maya. Then before coming to Hare Krishna, all the time we have been carried away. But coming to Krishna, that only sometimes they carried away by Maya. And slowly, time to come, not any time Maya can carry you away. All the time with Krishna. A beautiful process and very simple process, very easy process. But you only can be able to achieve it by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Okay, thank you so much for being here. It's 9 o'clock now. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nitai Gaura Pramanande. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.